Okay, it's been a while since I've done a video. I've been kind of busy just doing other stuff. But anyway, I figured I'd update you. My Datsun 280Z has a AM/FM stereo radio in it. I've had various issues with it, from light bulbs not working to little miscellaneous things, but the bottom line is, even when it was all done, it just wasn't that sensitive. I don't think it's sensitive enough. It doesn't seem like it pulls in even local stations with a lot of authority. I mean, you gotta really finely tune it, and it's like, I don't know. So it's either I'm being too critical of the radio, or I have a problem with the radio. Now, I have tools, and I could probably do an alignment on it, and I may do that just for fun. But yeah, I was able to pick this radio up here for a very reasonable price off of eBay from I think it was Z-Car Crazy was the vendor. You know, good vendor, good prices, easy to communicate with. So they had this AM/FM stereo, which I purchased, and I said, you know, the very first question you have to ask when you're looking at your stuff is the tuning on the right side? Because this one, the tuning, as you can see, I got this one a while earlier, much earlier, the Datsun radio. I thought, oh, that'd be perfect. Tuning's on this side, which is not good, because my 280Z has a faceplate that says clearly tuning and power on off. Well, that's flipped on here. So this radio is gone. You're out of here. Not going to use it. I mean, I tested it, worked great, but I just can't tolerate the tuning and the switch on volume being mislabeled. That would just drive me insane. So I had to get rid of that one, which is too bad, because it's a nice radio. Plan B. This is the one I got from Z-Car Crazy. Very first question is, which side's the tuning on? Yay. Perfect. I'm all happy. Great. So, you know, purchased it, got it here, hooked it up. Seems very sensitive. You know, everything's tested out really solid. I checked out the balance. This is the tone over here. That worked fine. This is the on-off. That works fine. I'll explain. There's a little more to this story too. I'll get to that later. Tuning and balance. I go, oh, cool. So, you know, before I start installing the stereo, I say, well, let's make sure both channels work. I mean, yeah, I assume it will. So, using the wiring diagram on the back, it's got a rear right and a rear left. I'll get into this in just a minute, this little whited out area. So I hook it all up. I put my speakers, you know, the two hot sides here in a common ground, which is the same as the case ground. And lo and behold, the speakers, both speakers will work, but only when it was cranked the balance control to one side. That doesn't make any sense. Why would both speakers work, but only when the balance is cranked to one side? That really puzzled me for quite a bit. It made no sense whatsoever. So I looked here, and I had what used to have been this white was, I whited out on purpose. I didn't want to confuse myself later on. These two terminals said front speaker. That's what this whiteout went to. Front speaker right there, those two pieces right there. I go front speaker, rear speakers, left, right. So I got to thinking, well, has this got some kind of weird fader? Is this a fader for front and rear? And sure enough, when I hooked up a speaker to these columns here, to these terminals here, I could move the balance to the other side, and I would get, I presumed, a combination left-right, because it said front. It didn't say front, left, front, right. It just said front. So I assumed that this was a combination left-right, okay? And I assumed that there was just something wrong here I couldn't figure out. So I decided, you know, this I just can't have that. I can't deal with this. So I'm going to try to figure out what's going on, see if there's some way I can't hook these up so that maybe I can make this work right. I take it all apart, and lo and behold, these two terminals are jumpered together on the inside of the case with a single wire. So you have a ground, and you have a single wire. These are not left and right. This is either left or right, or a combination of both. So I said, huh, that's weird. And then up on this one, on this rear speaker, which was on these two terminals here, I had a green wire. I had a green wire going to that one, and a gray wire going to that one. I got to think, geez, is that just left and right, like combined left only I mean, both these speakers are left, and this front speaker is all right, which is goofy, but maybe. So anyway, the bottom line is what I did was I broke the jumper. I disconnected the jumper from one side. I disconnected the green wire, which was, you know, right here, this hot wire over here. Moved that green wire down to the now unconnected side. So now I have a green wire and a gray wire, and I confirmed that these were two channels by listening to it and listening for stereo separation. So now you have a true left, a true right. The balance works. This has been deleted, doesn't do anything anymore, and we're good to go. And the sensitivity of the radio test seemed really good. I mean, I'll know when I put it in a car if it still works. But that was an interesting problem. Like I said, this was very confusing because when you look at that, rear right, rear left. Yet, and electrically, if you look at it from a schematic point of view, those two are connected together, even though it doesn't look that way here. And I mean, the left and the right really was throwing me. I guess it literally meant the left side of the car, the right side of the car. It had nothing to do with left and right channels. And by the same token, that one simply said front speaker. It didn't say left, it didn't say right, it didn't say left and right, it just said front speaker. So anyway, that was my lesson learned, was to do that. Next lesson learned. Okay, this radio came without knobs, which is fine. I mean, I knew it. I mean, it wasn't hidden from me or anything. I had purchased, when I showed you this other radio some time ago, I got this nice radio, had a nice set of knobs. But again, you know, I never really installed, never really fully tested it out. Well, as it turns out, the knobs that came with it must not have been original, because either this radio or this radio, which has a push-on, push-off knob here, would not push on or push off, because, as you can see now, there's a space there that allows this to depress. Okay? Stock, it has no space. I had to literally grind away that whole bit, practically flush, and I even had to grind off a little bit of shoulder off of this thing. I want to get these, well, you can't really get them mixed up. Had to grind off a little bit of that shoulder. It's probably not as noticeable, but it is ground. Probably see it better if I look at it from this point of view. You can see this has been ground down. So it's not shiny bits. And you can also tell by looking at the height difference of those two. So I don't know what was going on, but these were probably designed for maybe a twist on, twist off, because there is no room for this. This absolutely will not work. If you put these on, I'll go ahead and do it real quick. Real quick, he says. Okay, this is the way it came originally. No, that's not going anywhere. You cannot turn it on or off. And like I said, I had to grind down both pieces to get enough clearance. I didn't want to, well, frankly, I just couldn't hardly grind any more off of this. I mean, I already took it down to the nub, and it just barely has enough throw left in it to get the job done. So anyway, there you have it. That's the new radio. Again, shout out to Z-Car Crazy on eBay. Nice radio, good prices, good people to work with, easy communication. He packed it well. I asked him specifically to make sure that this gets packed, because these things on that other one I got, on this one of these was all jacked up. I can't remember which side it was. I had to kind of get medieval on it and bend it back to get this thing to fit, but fortunately there was no permanent damage. I was able to just kind of bend it back into place. But I didn't want to fight that, and these things break really easily. You got to be careful. So anyway, that's it for now. I'll be putting this in the Z later, installing. Hopefully everything works. I did check to make sure the lighting, the circuitry reads differently on this one, but it's essentially the same thing. Basically what it's telling you is that these two elements are the internal lights. Okay, they show it, a grounded. This is what literally happens, but I think on the schematic it just shows like a light bulb here on my 25 M1, which is the Hitachi one I'm replacing. I could be wrong with that. I don't know. Anyway, all looks good, sounds good. when I get it installed, hopefully I'll be able to get some better reception. Won't have to be constantly fiddling with fine tuning it. But that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.